Danielle from Wendell Woodworks. So a few of you have messaged me recently and have said that you've been thinking about getting a scroll saw or that you've already bought one, but have just been intimidated on getting started. Maybe the directions aren't very clear and you're just hoping for a step-by-step guide on how to begin. So this video is for you. And hopefully just by giving you a walkthrough of it, it'll give you the confidence to start. Pulling it out of the box, it's either going to go on a stand that you purchase separately, or you can bolt it down to a workbench. But either way, you're going to need to plug it in, and in case you didn't see it, the power cord is over here underneath the motor. And now we need a blade. If you bought the Pegas, it should come with a starter pack of blades. Take one of those. I think a number 5 is a good place to start. And you want the teeth to be pointing towards you. Make sure the white tension knob is pointed towards you. And then we're gonna stick it in. So there's 2 thumb screws. There's one up here at the top, and there's one down here at the bottom to secure the blade. So let's start with the top one. You can insert the blade through the hole and line up the top of the blade with maybe the top of the slot. It can go just a little bit higher. You turn it left to loosen it until it can fit in between the screws, and then turn it right to tighten it up. You don't have to over tighten it, you just want it to be nice and secure. And then you can go down to the bottom thumb screw, put that in the slot, and turn this thumb screw to tighten that up. Once it's in there, we're gonna flip this white knob back, and that's gonna put the tension on it so it's ready to cut. Now we've got the blade in, and you can go ahead and turn it on. There's some other things you gotta know too, right? So let's start with this up here. This controls your speed. You turn it to the right, it's gonna speed it up. You can hear it cutting faster. You can turn it down to make it go slower. And this is really just a matter of personal preference. If you're just starting, I would just turn it right into the middle, and you can see how that feels and adjust it as needed. This is your air compressor. You can move this around as needed. This is gonna blow the dust off of the piece that you're working on. So that's really convenient to help you be able to see the lines of your pattern or your template. You gotta blow that dust off. This knob controls your tension. If you're pulling it right out of the box, I would leave it as is to begin with because mine happened to come perfectly adjusted. But this is gonna change how tight or loose that your blade is. So if you start cutting and you feel like your blade is a little bit wobbly or it feels loose, you're gonna wanna tighten the tension on your blade by turning the knob to the right. But if your blade keeps slipping, your tension might be too tight already and might need to be loosened a little bit by turning the knob to the left. But the beauty of the Pegas to me is that tension isn't something that you're gonna have to worry about. In fact, after a year of use, I have yet to actually turn this knob. And what is down here, you ask? This is your bevel. You'll notice that if you loosen it up, you can actually turn the whole arm to the left or to the right. Though I don't use it often, there are some great uses of the bevel. This will either make the bottom of your cut wider or skinnier than the top of your cut. For most uses though, you're gonna wanna make sure that this red mark is right on the 0 for straight up and down cuts. You'll also notice that when your tension is loosened and your blade is out, you can lift this arm up. And this is really convenient if you're trying to put a big piece on your saw and get your blade through. That way you don't have to bend the blade getting it on. And then you can bring it right back down and reattach your blade. And now that your saw is all ready to go, the question is, what do I cut? If you're a beginner on the scroll saw, or even if you've been using it for years, a really great resource is Steve Good. He has an amazing scroll saw blog that sends out free patterns on the regular, and he's so generous with his knowledge. Down below in the description, I've attached a scroll saw practice sheet that he created and shared. You can stick it on some wood and just practice following the lines and the shapes to give you the confidence and get you used to the feel of it. If there's something I forgot and you still have questions, feel free to ask them below and I will try my best to answer them. And if you're interested in the Pegas, you can save 5% with the code Wendell Woodworks from Bear Woods. I'll put that in the description below as well. You can find more beginner tips right here. Thanks for watching, you guys, and happy scrolling.